Welcome back to episode 205 of the Guide and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
And I'm your other host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about guns and the responsible Christian gun owners' interest. On this week's show, we'll be talking and discussing about when you guys are going to start turning your guns in. You slaves, you know you can't have guns, or can you? Bandwidth sponsor Farms Radio Network. We want to thank them for providing our bandwidth out there for you guys to download at your opportunity, leisure, whenever you want to.
Thank you, guys. Also, Crossbreed Holsters. If you're carrying a gun on your person, in your vehicle, or got one next to your bed, you should put it in a Crossbreed Holster. Check them out, crossbreedholsters.com. Carry the cross.
Carry the cross. You might check your feed because you're dropping out on me. So I'm on.
Emma.
Let's see. I'll go. You want to go ahead and do the guiding guns while you look?
Sure.
Okay. So this week's guiding gun activities. I was on church security patrol Sunday and served in security. I think that was the fourth week in a row. We've had some things going on, not any real situations, just seems like I keep getting drawn back into the security role this last month, but I am going to be worshiping tomorrow. Also served on security for Wednesday night's youth and Awana, and then last night we had a youth event at church. It started at about 5 o'clock local time and ended about 1 o'clock my time. So we didn't get home till about 2 in the morning. So that's why we didn't record last night. So I was doing security and assisting the youth leadership in that. I've been catching up on my Bible reading. I've really gotten behind. I have to repent. I was not keeping up. So I've now caught up quite a bit. I haven't caught up completely. I've been talking with a lot of listeners. I mentioned this last week, but a lot of you guys have been emailing and having questions and concerns, and so spent a lot of time with that. And then this, that's pretty much the God side. On the gun side, of course, daily carry. I really haven't. I was planning to do some shooting this week, but we had snow 2.5 days this week and rain another day, and it's been cold and blowing, and I've just been really a pathetic person and stayed inside negotiating. It was nice today, and I was just wore out from last night. I tell you, I must be getting old because I used to be able to go hang out with the kids and party and stay up late, and it's like, man, it's hard to come back from that now.
I'm telling you.
So, got my ham sign on the gun, so I guess you'd call it. My new ham sign is KN4 KOP. So this would be Kilo November 4 Kilo Oscar Papa for people who have a hard time understanding K's and N's and P's and O's.
Congrats.
Thank you. And still studying for the extra class. I tell you, extra class is a big jump from going from the general to the extra. That's a lot of work, man. I tell you, it feels like I'm back in college. So I'm having to go back and relearn things and having to learn new things I never learned in school before. And so it's been interesting. It's been fun, but it's been taxing for my wife. She doesn't like me spending long hours reading and on the computer when she wants me to go do things for her. So I don't know if you all have wives like that. Just every once in a while, she gets a little miffed at me because my hobbies run into her hey-do time. So, see, next weekend's the Bulwarks Raven Defense 2 classes: unarmed close quarters combat, surviving the fight. It's like a combo class back to back down in Murray, Kentucky, down next to Kentucky Lake. And so I've been getting my gear together: ammo can full of 9mm. Bunch of spare mags and mag loaders and knee pads and elbow pads and rain gear and hearing protection, my shooting glasses and chair, cooler, tent, all the stuff you need for spending a full weekend at the range. I'm taking my Glock 30 as a backup in case my 19 goes down or I have some kind of failure. I can just switch guns and keep rocking. I might take the 21. I don't know. Might take a full size. Probably be a lot funner to shoot through the class.
There's going to be no failures. It's a Glock.
But half the class is unarmed fighting, so they're not going to be using the gun at all. So or very little. Maybe use it like a hammer. I don't know. I'll find out. Let y'all know next week. That's pretty much me, man. What you get going on?
Oh man, it's been a long week. The God side, I've been doing my daily devotional, Sportsman Daily Devotional, and I'm like you. I got to confess, I have not had time. I still can't finish Words from Jesus for Men. I'm like 5 pages, and I just can't finish it for some reason. I can't get there, but I will. I will make it. Church on Sunday. Let's see. The gun side, man. It's been a drought this past week, man. We closed on our the house we were buying, so we got that done. Well, thank you. So now the fun begins. So I've been over there working in the mornings, and I go do my honeydew list, and then I try to go back in the evening if I can. And it's just, man, it just seems like it's one thing after the other here lately. Trying to get stuff done, and just not enough hours in a day. So,
Cracker Barrel trying to come up on you?
Yes, it did. If this offends anybody out there, I apologize. I do not see what the big deal is about Cracker Barrel. It's horrible. It's a horrible place.
Some are, some aren't. I've had good Cracker Barrels, and I've had. Just depends on which one you go to, I think.
My heart just drops every time my wife calls, like, "Hey, can we run out to eat tonight?" I'm like, "All right, where are we going? Can we go to Cracker Barrel?" Sure, let's go.
Don't order chicken. That's all I got to say. Chicken takes an hour.
Dude, we walked in at 20 after 6, sitting at the table, and at 8:30 we are still sitting there.
Oh my gosh!
Trying to get out, trying to leave, and I'm like, "Let's go, people! Let's go!" I gotta get on recording. Let's go.
I have to start driving separate so you can bail.
Yeah, well, I was separate, and then Wendy had been out with Tara, one of our girls. They've been doing whatever they've been doing, running around all day, and so she came with her to Cracker Barrel and rode back home with me. So we had 2 of the girls there with all the children, and it's like it's fun. It's fun though. I can't say that. I love it.
It's those days. The days.
It's just when you got stuff you got to do. It's just like, let's rolling.
All right.
That's been it for me, man.
Cool. EDC check. I've got the Glock 13. It's a new.
You got a Glock 13 now?
Glock 13. Made it myself. Glock 19. I was looking at Gen 3 and 19 at the same time, and I mixed them together. Usual suspects, you guys know. Nothing new. Well, I've got a new tourniquet. I've got a new soft T tourniquet I started carrying because I like it better than the Rat's tourniquet that comes with the enhanced lifesaver. But still, the guns enhanced lifesaver. I like that one better. It cuts off my circulation faster, and I can lock it down and not have to worry about moving. Everything else on me is exactly the same.
Everything for me tonight is exactly the same. Glock 19, crossbreed holster, Super Tuck Deluxe, and Hornady critical duty ammo. And I love my Glock. I've had it on all day, and I was up at 3:30 this morning and out the door, and I've been going ever since, and I've had it on the entire time. So they just work.
I have to correct you.
What?
3:30 is not in the morning. That's still night. Till the sun comes up, it's still night. Just because you get up 3 hours before everybody else.
I know. I've done had a pot of coffee and out gone working.
You're ready to go to bed now, then.
Well, I'm dragging a little bit today. I ain't gonna lie, because I was at work Wednesday night this week. We had a little bit of a it wasn't a little bit of a problem. We had a problem, and we were trying to get that fixed. And we were there until 3 o'clock in the morning. We left, and I was back up at 8, took a shower, and right back to work, and was there till 5. So it's been it hadn't slowed down. It's just been that way all week. So
Yep.
it feels good to actually sit down and take a
I
breath.
took one of these before the show here, so you guys,
XM3.
That's Zeja's. It like gives you lots of energy and helps you burn calories, but it really perks you up. And so I'm starting to feel it kick in. So maybe we can get through this show.
Is it Gija's answer to the 5-hour energy shot?
Something like that. But it's all natural. It's not any of that. It's not chemicals. It's just ground up different plants and stuff like that. But it does pick you up quite a bit. I just took one. I guess I could take two, but then I would be speaking in some other language nobody would understand.
Then you'll still be up when I get up in the morning.
Yeah. No, it burns. It burns pretty smooth, pretty even until it's like a 4 hours, and then it's gone. I think.
Oh yeah.
Or it tapers off. But it's never really caused me heart palpitations or anything like that. It just wakes you up, and I can feel it right now waking me up. So we have some comedy jokes that we may or may not have facts. We have some comedy, and we have Chuck Norris facts we may or may not have done before because it's been so long, and we're both getting senile. So if you've heard them before, please forgive us.
I don't remember hearing these because I read them earlier.
I did a search for new Chuck Norris facts, and these were the top 3. So I didn't remember them before. So I'll take the first one.
All right.
So at Chuck Norris's wedding, he had to be both the groom and the best man. And why is that? Because there's no man better than Chuck Norris.
Oh, that's true.
So there was no best man, so he had to be both.
He is the best man.
He's the best man.
Number 2, Chuck Norris does not dial the wrong number. You picked up the wrong phone.
That's right. No matter where you're at, you picked it up. Let's see. When Chuck Norris was born, he drove his mother home from the hospital. All right. So that's for all you Chuck Norris freaks out there that are saying, hey, more Chuck Norris jokes. I don't know if there are any other but Mike, but Mike, there you go. If Mike even listens anymore. I don't know if he listens. We'll find out after this.
Yeah,
feedback.
we will.
We got some feedback. You want to take the first one?
Sure. Let's see. First one, I want y'all to know that I brought all of my guns into the kitchen and had a long, stern talk with them. They have promised me that they will not shoot up any schools or churches. And if another gun comes into our family, they will guide them to do the same. So now all the liberals can be at ease that none of my guns will attack any soft targets in the future. I figured this email was ridiculous saying that guns are the problem. And if guns are the problem, then I have done my part in helping that aspect of it. Steve Campbell.
Steven, yeah, Steven, we appreciate it. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Guns, they're illiterate. They cannot read those gun-free zones. That's the problem. We need a gun literacy program to help all guns be able to read. All right, so the next one here. Let's see. Sirs, I am going to be on Church Webcast about anything that I wish to, and I have scriptures to back my opinion up. I do not due to being wish to discuss self-defense and the church defense. I was wondering if you all had any talking points I could get, and may the good Lord bless you all and your families and your mission. And that's from Brian. Everybody, Brian. I apologize for Brian. He had sent this email like over a week ago, and I thought I had replied to it, but apparently I hadn't. So I'm sorry, Brian. But any of the episodes where we have talked with Greg Hopkins, our buddy, the author of
A Time to Kill,
A Myth of Christian Pacifism, that is an excellent resource to pull verses from. Or if you want to read the show notes on any of those episodes, we have a lot of those verses in there. Or just listen to that show again and glean the verses that he just drops like rain.
Yeah, doesn't he?
Yeah, all over the conversation. Just there's a wealth of knowledge there that every Bible believing, gun owning Christian should own a copy of and read, so that they're able to refute and smack down the stupidity of the arguments of the pacifist Christians. Not that Christians are stupid; it's just that they're ignorant of Scripture, what Scripture says about us, our ability to defend ourselves, and the whole discussion that this show has revolved around over the 5 years. We've debated and debunked a lot of different arguments over the years. So that those would be good sources for you, Brian. And I guess I should have like a verse page to to debunk those arguments. Maybe you can get Greg to throw something together for us, since he could just pop it off in like 30 seconds. Excuse me. Sorry, I had my supper trying to come and make a noise too. So thanks, Brent. Let me go ahead and read this next one from our buddy Chuck here. This is a little bit longer one. He told me I could read it, so I will share it with you all. Hey guys, I just wanted to share a few comments after listening to the latest podcast today. For starters, I don't think I did a good job in communicating my message in an earlier email when I increased my Patreon pledge and asked that I not be mentioned. It was coming from a place of humility and desire not to draw attention to myself in some self-serving way, meaning that I did not want recognition for increasing, that I did not want y'all to know that, and not that I did not want y'all to know that I supported the work you do and the podcast. I'm proud to support you guys as many other God-loving, gun-toting, red-blooded American patriots. I appreciate the content you provide. It is informative and entertaining while helping to bring light to the issues that face gun owner living in the world today. I apologize if my previous measures might have come across in some other way. I didn't take it that way, Chuck. I understood pretty much where you're coming from. I misunderstood that you didn't want me to mention. I thought you didn't want me to mention it at all. So, and we've had a couple others that have also asked, you don't have to put my name out there, even though I'm giving much money. So, but I appreciate your support. And let's see. And I too, he goes on to say, and I too do not feel that you owe your supporters any refunds whatsoever for any lacks or gaps in content. You have lives beyond the podcast, and life sometimes requires you to prioritize where your time gets spent, and I do not see supporting you as if it was a purchase, rather as a contribution to participate in some way towards helping get the content out to the public as well as for my own enjoyment. Lastly, I want you to know that God is using you both in the podcast to bring his light to those who might otherwise be exposed to it, and not discredit that as a part of your calling. While many of listeners appreciate the gun-related content, it is the issues facing Christian gun owners that other podcast providers do not offer. Your unique personalities, viewpoints resonate with other Christian gun owners in a way that helps build the community and fellowship that we are called to live as Christ followers. I pray that God will continue to bless you and your families personally for sharing your lives with your listeners. And his suggestion that we perhaps adding prayer to the show. I suggested that we pray at some point during the show, allowing you and your listeners to share a brief a moment of prayer during the show. I would be happy to write up some samples of prayers that could be used for these purposes. You guys couldn't do that yourselves. I'm just offering. There's a great power to the prayer over the airwaves. Even if it's not necessarily live, the power of prayer remains. Peace and blessing, brothers. And as you always say, keep your guns close, but keep your Bibles closer. Your brother in Christ, Chuck Shett. So, Shettle, I don't know, messed up your name there, Chuck Shettle. I think that's how I pronounce it. So, we appreciate it, Chuck. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for supporting the show. And thanks for your suggestion. We've discussed prayer here many times. Mike and I, even back in the early days when Mike and I were doing the show, we had discussed, whether we would have prayer on the show or not. And I just, I don't know. I've let me think about it. Let me get back with y'all next week. We've had requests multiple times. As I've said before, the Bible says when you pray, don't pray as people wanting attention out in the corner, praying out loud in public. Go to a closet and pray to God. And, it's your conversation between you and God. I understand there's public prayer or calling people to prayer, and maybe in that tone. Let me research it again. It's just I just don't I haven't felt the calling for that. Not that and maybe it's not necessary. What about you, Doug?
Mm, I always, you know, it's almost like to me, like when they pray at a NASCAR race, they've
Mhm.
drawn out something that they've handwritten prior to, and they just read it.
Yeah.
And to me, it doesn't. To me, that doesn't mean anything. I'm not saying that ours wouldn't, because
Mhm.
I wouldn't. If you're like me, you wouldn't write nothing down. You're just going to let it go, and
Yeah.
what
Most
you get is
public
what you get.
yeah, most public prayers I hear 90%. And I'm not slapping nobody around, and they may be, but when I hear public prayer, most of the time it's almost like a sermon to the
Hmm.
people hearing the prayer, and that's not prayer. Prayer is when we are talking with God, we're appealing to God, we're pleading to God, we're thanking God, we're praising God. Those are things that are done from your heart to God, and not necessarily for an audience. And when we do prayer in church, the pastor is praying for everybody to be in the same accord, I believe, is the way I would state that.
Hmm.
That we're all focusing on what God has for us to hear, getting us all in one mind, one unity as a body of believers. And maybe that's where I need to approach it from. Maybe that's where we need to go with it. And I'm not discounting anything Chuck you said there, but let me work on that some more because it's just not. I don't have it in my format, or I don't have it how to approach that. Let me work on the format of that. We'll see where we can come with it. All right,
As Kentucky boys say, let us ponder that for a little bit.
yeah, let's sleep on that a little bit. Roll around our heads, roll. Bible verse this week uh, coming to us from John 16 verses 25 through 33. I have overcome the world is the header of this section, and this is Jesus speaking. He says, I have said these things to you in figures of speech. The hour is coming when I no longer will speak to you in figures of speech, like parables, but I will tell you plainly about the Father. In that day you will ask in my name, and do not say to you that I will ask the Father on your behalf. For the Father himself loves you, because you have loved me and have believed that I have came from God. I came from the Father and have come into the world, and now I am leaving the world and going to the Father. So Jesus is talking to his disciples here. He's saying, before you guys, when you prayed, I was like your intercessory, right? I was speaking on your behalf to God, to the Father. But now, since you love me, the Father loves you. And so now you can pray in now here in the future, real soon. You're going to be able to pray to me, pray to the Father in my name. That's what he's saying. His disciple says, now you're speaking plainly and not using figurative speech. Now we know that you know all things and do not need anyone to question you. This is why we believe that you have came from God. And then Jesus answered them, do you now believe? Behold, the hour is coming. Indeed, it is come when you will be scattered, each to his own home, and will leave me alone. Yet I am not alone. The Father is with me. I have said these things to you that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart. I have overcome the world. Again, John 16 verses 25 through 33. So Jesus is revealing, I'm going to be gone soon. I'm going to die, right? And I'm going to be going to heaven with my Father. And then when you are to pray, you'll be praying to the Father. You won't have an intercessor. You won't have to go to the high priest of the temple and have him make prayers and petitions for you. You can then pray to the Father directly. And then you pray in Jesus' name, because Jesus is your intercessor, but he's an intercessor in heaven, right? He's no longer going to be the high priest here on earth that he was when he was here. He is now the intercessor for you, for you to be able to pray to the Father directly, because we love Jesus, and God the Father loves us, and so He will hear our prayers, and if we pray those in Jesus' name. And then the last verse here, I'm just going to read again. I have said these things to you that in me, in Jesus, you might have peace. You may have peace, because in the world you're going to have tribulation. But take heart, I have overcome the world. So Jesus is telling us whatever is going to happen in the future, you're going to have you're going to have tribulation. You're going to have troubles. You're going to have problems. You're going to be attacked. You're going to be slandered. You're going to be demonized by demons, right? On in this world. But don't be afraid. Don't worry. Jesus says, I've already overcome this. I've already defeated this. I've already won. You just have your faith in him. Have your faith in Jesus. That in there you will find peace. And there you will find comfort. And guys, I tell you, over the last year, or last couple of years, there have been times when I've just been overcome by the world. I would just let the world's negativity and just the debauchery that's going on, the lawlessness and the lack of justice that we see all around us here in the United States and around the world get at me. And then Jesus has to remind me, I've already won. I'm already in control. This is just, the birth pains, right? This is just the end of all this evil trying to take out as many as he can with it. But and many, many nights as a father of children and grandchildren have I laid in bed and not been able to sleep, and because just worrying what their future holds, what they're going to have to deal with. Are they going to be able to handle it? Are they going to be prepared? Are they ready for this battle that is coming, this onslaught? And at the end of it, I'm just, Jesus, I'm trusting you with my children. I'm trusting you with my grandchildren. I'm trusting you with my friends and my family, that you are able. And I am just sharing the gospel and I'm putting my faith in Jesus alone. My guns won't save us. Anything I own is able to be gone tomorrow. We're not promised another breath, right? But we can trust that Jesus is going to do what's in best interest for us and what's in best interest, or what glorifies God. And so that is our hope, people. That is our hope, that Jesus is in control. He's already won. We just have to keep our faith in Jesus, that he will provide, that he will take care of those things. And then we can have that peace that surpasses all understanding. We can be that shining light in this dark world. And when people see us standing tall and unafraid and ready to take on whatever, then they can say, how is it you're like that? How is it you're not afraid? How is it you're standing and where everyone else is scared and running and hiding? And it's because Jesus is my salvation, not this world, not the government, not the Baptist Church, not Kentucky, not the Second Amendment. Jesus is what I am leaning and trusting and putting my full faith in, because everything else can go away. Everything.
That's true.
So that's our verses for this day. Again, John 16:25 through 33. And we're going to move on.
Moving on.
Main topic. All right, Doug, it's time for us to turn our guns in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, we got to turn them in, because there's a whole bunch of school kids that are crying and walking out of school, and there's a whole bunch of media people. And I heard the Ayatollah Khomeini said we need to turn our guns in, and who else was saying we need to turn guns in? Some other dictators around the country were saying we need to turn guns in around the world. And
Yeah,
Democrats saying we need to turn guns in, cut them up.
Not going to happen.
What? You're not going to turn them in?
No.
Well, in Illinois, if you're between 18 and 20 years old, or 18 and 20 years old, they're getting ready to pass a law that you have to turn over your guns if you have any guns, and they don't have any provision to pay you back for them. They're going to confiscate them. What do you think about that?
I don't have any guns already.
Yeah, but your friends will turn you in because they're good liberals.
You think? Somebody probably would, but I wouldn't.
Well, this is pretty much where it comes to. So you got politicians in these slave states, Illinois, now Florida. Florida used to be a gun state. It used to be, a good state. I'm thinking about not going back down there. My parents live there, but I don't know what.
Florida has lost their mind since the shooting down there.
You know what is running Florida? New York, New Jersey, all along that north New England coast there. They all retire because the tax is too high, move to Florida because there's no income tax, and then they run the state of Florida. Mm-hmm. They go down there and vote for the same kind of weirdos and kooks that they voted for up in New York and New Jersey that have run them out of that state.
Right.
And it's like rats leaving a sinking ship, man. You guys need to not be able to vote if you move from New York or New Jersey to another state. There'd be a law against people from other states moving in and getting to vote. They only get to vote in California where they were from.
Yeah, people are just getting ridiculous with this stuff now.
I don't know that it's people as much as it's the media and the Democrats and easily mind controlled children that are in these schools. They're being whipped up for their 15 minutes of fame.
Well, some of those 15-minute famer kids are paid by CNN to be crisis actors, and come out of the woodwork.
You can't say crisis actor.
Why?
Because they'll shut you down. Well, shut us down. They'll pull your YouTube. They'll pull it. That's what's happening, man. They're pulling social media people. Anybody that says crisis actors, anybody that says this was a setup, just because the FBI was like the first people responding, and the news helicopters was there and almost before the police were, and then they had all this agenda already set up, ready to go. Just as soon as it happened, all these teens already have websites and stuff like that. You can't say there's something to that. That's fake news. What? You got kids coming out of the place saying there was multiple shooters, saying that the actual person that they've named as the shooter walked out of the school with them. You've got actual children that were walking out of the school that got videoed saying this. Then you have these ones that are on CNN that are pushing that Trump is evil because he supports NRA and stuff. I'm like, really? Did you see that video that came out? Was it today? Maybe it was yesterday. The video of the police officers all running and jumping on a golf cart and taking off and going to hide.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, they actually got the video of them outside of the school hopping onto a little black and white golf cart or a little police cart and taking off and leaving. The ones that were supposed to go in and stop the shooter. It was also released this week that their training manual showed that they were supposed to, if one or two armed police were there, they were supposed to go in and get in front of this guy and try to stop him. They didn't do that. They all stood outside waiting for backup. That is exactly opposite what their training manual said for them to do.
Because I think it was this one. Didn't they run a video where a dispatcher's talking to them and tell them they can't go in because they didn't have their body cameras on or something?
No, two of the police that went in. So what happened was happening. There's some police officers training nearby, close by, and when the call went out that there was a shooting, they grabbed their gear and took off, went to the school, and entered the school as they were trained to do, to enter and to stop this guy. And they were fired or put on leave or whatever until investigation is done because they didn't get approval to go into the school because it wasn't their jurisdiction or whatever, but they were like right there. And so they have been like put on leave or have been fired or something like that. I just heard this week until they can come to the bottom of this because they didn't get permission to go in yet. That sounds really odd. I mean, it sounds like they didn't want any police to go in there for a while. To me, what does that sound like to you?
I mean, that's what it sounds like.
I mean why
you're
would you do that?
You're going to fire somebody or put them on administrative leave because they went in and tried to save a bunch of kids?
Yeah.
The very thing that they're whining about didn't happen because we can't protect the kids, and they wouldn't let the guys go in there, or they got fired because they went in.
Yeah. What? Things don't add up, people. They don't add up. When you have this guy who was the police, the sheriff in that county, buddies, pictures with all these top Democratic crooks. When he didn't even go to his own training, he was supposed to have had training on active shooter training. He didn't even go get his active shooter training. I think he gets paid like $180,000 a year. This top sheriff down there, and then he's like a $3,000 annual training fee for him to go get this training on active shooters and stuff that he was mandatory training he was supposed to go to, and he didn't go to it, so he didn't get his pay for that for the last 2 years. Like he hadn't went since like 2016 or something. And he's going to tell us. I'm hearing other sound here somewhere for you to do. Like another.
Hearing what?
It's like another microphone came on. It was weird. I don't know, but it's strange how this. It's just strange how this happens. That in this same district is that woman who should be in jail, the one that rigged the election for Hillary. What was her name?
The one that won, yeah.
The one that rigged the election for Hillary, so she would win over Bernie Sanders. She was losing to Bernie Sanders. I forget what her name is.
Oh, you talking about the chair, Debbie Wasserman Schultz?
Yeah, her same hometown. This woman, the guy that's in charge of the school system there came from Chicago. He was Obama's buddy. They had a deal worked out there, so if they wouldn't arrest the kids that went to that school, the school system and the sheriff's department got more money from the federal government. What? What? It doesn't make sense. This kid, his real parents don't exist, died. I don't, something happened to his real parents. He's with adopted parents, and both of them died. Then he's staying with a friend of the adopted parent, and she's taking care of him, handling his inheritance somehow. And FBI visits him, or FBI's told the man 3 times. He's the local police had 39 visits, something like that, to the house for threats. The school system, all these threats, and yet all these government bureaucracies didn't do their job. And who's to blame? The NRA. The NRA is to blame because
bump stocks.
Which did he?
He didn't have a bump stock.
High capacity magazines. He had 10 round magazines, is what I was told. Did you hear that?
10. No, I didn't hear what he had.
Someone said he had 10 round magazines. How in the world? Where you find 10 round magazines for ARs anymore? I mean, The standard's 30.
He probably ordered them from California.
He probably, I don't know. I'm like, where you get to, I mean, you have to go to a slave state to get 10 round magazines. I don't, why would anybody in Florida have 10 round magazines? Yeah. Does it seem like, does that not seem weird? I mean, go to your local gun shop and look for a 10 round magazine if you don't live in a slave state. I don't see anything less than 30. I see 30s and 40s, and you see those really expensive 60 rounders and the 90 rounders and the beta mags and all that stuff.
Sometimes you can find the old military style 20 rounders.
Maybe 20 rounder. But these were what I read on news that was on the internet and other places. There was 10 round magazines. He had 10 round magazines. He had multiples of 10 round magazines. There's reports of a teacher saying that there was a conversation between the shooter and someone else. Well, this door is locked. I don't know why this door is locked. Let's go on to the next one. And I'll look into this.
What?
But now this is getting reported on the main news. You find this on, the other news sites that talk to people that actually were in the buildings and things like that, not the kids from California that graduated 2 years ago. Oh, did I say that?
Yeah.
So we have Las Vegas, which we still have no answers for. That no one has video of this guy. No one has video of these guns coming in and out. Nobody has an explanation why it took them an hour and 10 minutes to go into the room with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
No one can explain why the guy who supposedly spooked the guy and caused him to shoot himself and ended up with all the brass on top of him and no brass underneath of him, only like 40 rounds in the whole room that was laying on top of him.
Why did he have so many cameras in the room and in the hallway?
I don't know. I mean, these questions nobody's answering.
Could it have been an Eric Holder Fast and Furious gone wrong?
You think maybe something like that, or maybe a gun deal gone bad. Who goes to Las Vegas into a big hotel and does a gun trade thing? Things aren't adding up, people. You're being sold a lie. You're being sold a bunch of lies. Question things when you see things like this that don't make any sense. Question it.
Yeah.
Don't believe everything you're hearing come out of these. I mean, how many times has the narrative changed in Las Vegas? I mean, it was changing 3 times a day for the first week there.
Oh yeah.
There was one shooter, there was 2 shooters, there was multiple shooters, there was 3 different points of shot, there was different calibers of guns, there was fully automatic fire, no, there was bump fire start, no, there was and yet here we are. How many months is it now? It was pre-Christmas, wasn't
it?
Yeah. On Las Vegas. I don't know. Don't take this line down. If you're not a member of the NRA, I know NRA is really kicking themselves in the face on some. What you've got is a lot of old NRA controlling fractions up there that are willing to deal with the devil to try to keep some gun rights because they're afraid they're going to lose them, because they're mostly liberal, but they like to go shoot their clay pigeons and stuff like that. A lot of those guys from up in Washington, D.C. and up in Massachusetts and up in the New England states have all become really disconnected with the rest of us out in the real world. But that's the best weapon we still have in our quill. That and you guys calling and writing and letting your congressmen know they are weak need. They will buckle at the first hint of being called a baby killer, the first hint of being labeled as something by name. We've got some really pathetic politicians right now. Just pathetic.
Yes.
but keep on them. Don't let them. Don't let them walk off the job here. Don't let them cave in. I can't believe Florida caved so quickly. I cannot believe they caved so quickly. It was amazing. And that governor, oh my gosh, he needed to be a Democrat before he ran last time. He was talking about it, but he might as well just claim himself a Democrat after that.
They just want to give away all their rights, man.
I don't understand. I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, there's more people killed by abortion every year by 20,000 times than are killed by all the other things. Um, there's more people die in car crashes from drunk drivers and texting than there are killed by mass murders at schools. One of the better memes I've seen is, if teenagers can't have guns, they don't need phones because more of them get killed by phones texting than they do by guns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just venting. Go ahead, Doug. Take it over.
Shoot, it's ridiculous, man. I'm like you. I don't understand it. The first thing they do is blame the gun, but they don't want to. You talking about the abortion thing? They talk about if they could just save one life by passing all the gun laws and get rid of all the guns and save one kid's life. You want to save kids' lives? Quit killing them.
Yeah. You don't care about the kids. The Democrats claim they care about the children, yet they're the biggest proponents of abortion on demand. That's those two don't fly together. Those two are complete opposites. Murder is murder, whether the mother decides to do it or someone else. It's still murder. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm done with that. But as far as the, I don't know what's happened to Trump. I don't know if he's just getting bad information. People are leaking false things that he's saying. He is really getting me upset about the way he ran on as opposed to what he is being said that he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And, I understand bump stocks are a joke. Yeah, bump stocks are a joke, but it doesn't, it's not the bump stock. It's not the object. Let's don't play that game with the Democrats, the leftists, the communists, that it's the object that's at fault. The object that's at fault is the person who pulls the trigger, be that bureaucrat, be that crisis actor, be that whatever it is, a drugged up kid. I mean, every one of these kids, even this kid here, was supposed to be on some kind of meds.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go again. And it's always a drugged up kid. And every time we start to get to I was saying this week, every time we start to get where we're getting ready to do something about these bureaucrats, these criminal bureaucrats of the FBI that was rigging elections, or get close to these Democrats getting ready to be prosecuted, all of a sudden we have a school shooting by another drugged up kid. It's like on cue. If you start getting something on Eric Holder, you start getting something on Hillary Clinton, you start getting something on Obama, all of a sudden, oh my gosh, a drugged up kid shot up another school.
Mm-hmm.
It's the NRA's fault. It's Trump's fault. What?
It's bump fires.
I think it's drug companies' faults and people who are managing these kids' lives that are always never around. It's like these kids just live by themselves and they're popping pills and playing with guns. Like, where are the parents at? Who's watching these kids? Where do these kids come from? I mean, every one of them was like from some kind of divorced family that nobody has custody of them, or they're living with grandparents, or they're a child of the state control. It's like, where are the parents in this situation? How is this happening? And how come they're always some kind of a connection to the FBI or to the CIA or to some kind of their father is a member of some kind of a government group. And we have that in Sandy Hook. We had that here with this guy in Florida. Well, he wasn't, but that was the kid pushing gun control. His mom was a CNN reporter or CNN employee, and his dad's an FBI retired FBI agent. Just too many weird coincidences. I'm rambling. I'm starting to run people off.
Well, no, actually,
Oh,
we got a
got
few.
more.
We got a few. Actually, one of our listeners was on there, and she said that, excuse me, I was on the fence about renewing my NRA membership, but after Scott signed that stupid bill, I renewed for 2 years.
Yeah, good
Good
job.
on you.
Good job. I signed all my family up, so every member of my family is now an NRA member. Of course, I'm a life benefactor, and
Life.
so guys, if anything should happen out of this from the gun community, we should sign everybody in our families up. It's not that much. You can sacrifice going out to eat for 3 or 4 months to sign everybody in your family up, sign your grandkids up. The junior memberships are $15 for kids under 15. I think children 15 and under are like $15, and regular memberships like 40. You save money if you sign up through our link. So
We're here to save you money.
we're here to save you money.
Hey, it's just like, excuse me. It's just like when you and I were sitting at the table up at NRA,
Yep.
Wherever we were at.
Louisville?
I don't even, was it Louisville?
Yep.
Okay, Louisville.
We're sitting there with Hickok 45.
He got 45, and our buddy Steve.
Mhm.
Steve was there with us.
Steve,
And the lady walked up to us and said just a horrible thing it was that she saw a little boy walking around in the NRA show,
mhm,
and his dad let him touch a gun. It was
mhm.
like, she had no idea what she was talking about until after she made a mistake and sat down with us for a little bit.
Yeah.
And she got a lesson.
Yeah.
And I think she actually I think she listened, honestly.
Yeah, she listened to where we came from. I mean, where she came from was inner city, and had everything with guns was associated with crime. And where we come from, everything associated with guns was family activities and hunting and defending our homes. I mean, totally different understanding or reference to guns.
Mm-hmm.
And we can understand where she's coming from. Yeah,
Sure.
there are people that don't need guns that are participating in criminal activities. That's not the fault of the gun owners that aren't. Right? It's not our fault that people who commit crimes are using guns. No, that's the criminal's fault. When you're committing crime, then you're already a criminal. You don't make criminals out of people who are not criminals for owning a gun or using a gun to defend themselves and their families.
I saw a story the other day. I mean, it was brief about a kid on I think it was a subway train, whatever, pulled a knife and stabbed somebody to death the other day. But did you see it on the news? Nah, it ain't out there. They're not going to talk about that.
Oh, that's next. I mean, once you get rid of the guns, then we'll get into the knife stories. That's what they're doing over in Great Britain right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, once you get rid of the guns, you get rid of the knives and the baseball bats and the taser. I mean, it's not just guns in Europe. It's tasers, it's pepper spray, it's billy clubs, it's nunchuck, it's anything that you could hurt.
Golf clubs.
You have no right to defend yourself. You understand that, right? It's like the no
Stand your ground.
No, like the school systems. There's like, it doesn't matter who started the fight. Everybody's getting kicked out.
Oh, yeah.
No, what is it called? No.
I call it no sense.
Yeah, no sense project. But so it's the same way in Europe. If you defend yourself, you're going to jail too. You're supposed to sit there and take it, be a good victim. What? I don't think so. I mean, come on now.
Exactly.
You have no right to your life in most of Europe, right? If you are fighting someone, it's just as much your fault for fighting them as it is for their fault for attacking you. But they're not going to, pay the price. I mean, they're already a criminal.
True.
That's what they would have us be here. They would have us be here that, people got to steal something so they have money to go buy school clothes. I don't know. I did. Okay, so the lack of justice in the Bible, it says, and don't quote me on this, but I'm paraphrasing from a bad memory here, but whenever the evil are in charge, people are sad and depressed. Whenever the good people are in charge, people rejoice, and people, are happy. Um, there's a Bible verse to that. I'll find it somewhere and post it later. But so when you have bad people in charge, you don't have justice. See, good government is just. Good government prosecutes the wicked, the ones who are evil, the ones who commit crimes, and they leave the good people alone. Bad government is the ones who prosecute the good people and leave the bad people alone. And we've got a whole lot of that in a whole lot of states right now. And it's trying to go nationwide. And people, if you don't stand up, we the people is you guys. It's me and you, Doug, and it's you guys. We the people. If we don't stand up and hold these people accountable and start writing letters, start going knocking on doors and going to visit our sheriff, going to visit our congressmen and saying, look, you guys need to get this stuff straight. This is not our fault. You're letting people go around and do what they want to do, and you're not willing to stand up against it. And it's the heart, at the heart of it, it's all spiritual, guys. I know, but we got to be praying for our country. We got to be praying for righteous, upright people to lead our country, and we got to be praying that God will redeem this country. God will bring a revival in this country, and we've got to be sharing the gospel with our children, our grandchildren, our grandchildren's friends, our children's friends, everywhere. You guys got to spread the gospel, because apart from Jesus changing the hearts of this nation, it's going to continue to go the way it's going. And my children are going to be fighting in this and messing with this, and my grandchildren are going to be messing with this mess. And it's upon all of us as believers to be proclaiming the gospel, to proclaiming justice, to be expecting justice, to be asking for justice from our leaders, not for them to be prosecuting and attacking those of us who are righteous, those of us who are living by the law, God's law. I mean, all law is originated in the Bible, 10 Commandments. I mean, that's where all of morality ever existed, is from God. It doesn't exist in man. If you let man rule themselves without the Bible, then there will be no law. There will be total anarchy. And that's where we're headed. So if we don't hold these people who we're paying outrageous sums of money to do what they're called to do, which is uphold and defend the Constitution and provide justice to victims, and to provide, a law and order in our country, then we're going to end up with a bunch of communists running this, a bunch of dictators running this, just like it's happened all over Europe and all over the rest of the world. So I know I'm preaching to the choir here. We're going to rock on. So,
hey, I was going to tell you, one of our listeners just that's listened to us tonight. She made the comment. She typed in Proverbs 29:2, and I mean, it's perfectly suited for what you're doing right now. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
That's right. That's the one. I knew it was somewhere in Proverbs. I just couldn't remember which one it was.
There you go.
That's the verse. So I appreciate that. It saves me having to go back and look it up. So we have some stickers and patches. So we got the Guy and Guns patches. I got a bunch of those in. I've got stickers in. So if you want to buy those, there's a link, or there will be by the end of the show, a link in our show notes for you guys to purchase those. You can find them on our Facebook page. You can find them on our guyandguns.com, guyandgunspodcast.com page. So I've got lots of those that need to be sold, and you guys need to buy them. Shirts, I have been asked, and I'm on my fourth group that I've sent out, that I've asked to make shirts. I've got a guy local here that is, I think he sold over 1 million shirts last year. Here
of ours?
No, just t-shirts. You started making t-shirts a couple of years ago. I think he sold 1 million shirts just last year. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna come down and talk to you. I'm gonna show you what I want. Let's see if you can make one at a reasonable price that people can afford. So the fourth one came. The sample's supposed to already been here last week. It didn't show up. So I'm gonna give them a look, and then I'm going down to visit this guy, and we're gonna have to get some shirts put together, because I promised you guys shirts, and I apologize that it just hasn't happened. So patches and stickers. And let's see, Patreon. We got a lot of Patreon supporters, as you heard earlier. Chuck has upped his amount, and so we appreciate that. If you want to support us through Patreon, you just go to patreon.com/God and Guns. And Tim Kim, John Odlin, Doug Schultz, Steve Stone, Shannon Copeland, and Chuck Shettle. I think it's Shettle. If I'm wrong, Chuck, you send me a message spelling it out phonetically, because I am from Kentucky. So we appreciate those guys. Also, join the NRA if you're not already a member of the NRA. Use our link and this a little bit of love, and it'll save you a little bit of money. DeVore, DVOR. I bought some stuff again last week on DeVore.
What?
I don't know. Mama's gonna
I thought you were banned from DeVore.
I'm not banned. I'm just self-restricting. But I did need something. What was I needed? Oh, I needed some proper clothing, and they had them on sale. And so I bought me some proper pants and something else. But I love proper pants and shorts and stuff.
A proper scope.
They only come out on sale like once a month. So when it comes up, I'll get them. Laser activated shot reporter. They've got a new upgrade. So if you guys already have laser activated shot reporter, bought it already, you can get a free upgrade right now. Use coupon code GANDG to get a 10% discount. If you don't know what laser activated shot reporter is, go to lasrapp.com. You can find out all about it. Our alignment up at Hoplite Armor. If you need body armor, any kind of body armor, hard armor, soft armor, helmets, shields, all kinds of cool stuff, go to Hoplite Armor using our affiliate link, and we'll get a little bit of love. Let's see, Zija. I was taking some XM3 here a little earlier, and now I have energy. If you guys haven't noticed, I picked up and I woke up and actually like not falling over asleep in the chair. So Zija is a product I take because it helps me, and it helped save my life, and I'm not kidding about that. And I take it all the time, every day, and I use all their products because I like their stuff. It's not cheap. It's expensive because it's all good stuff. I tell you up front, it's not cheap, but it's good.
So did we say it's not cheap?
It's not cheap because people can say, man, it's expensive. Well, yeah, good stuff is expensive. You buy organic, you buy, grass-fed beef, you buy, go to a nice restaurant, it ain't cheap, but it's good.
If you want cheap, go get some Flintstone vitamins.
You want to know more about ZG? Go to God and Guns, GODANDGUNS.myzija, ZIJA.com, and you can find out all about it. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Doug, you're up.
Hey, Crossbreed Holsters, we will be with our buddies from Crossbreed next month up in Louisville, Kentucky, United States Concealed Carry Association Expo and Exhibit. Crossbreed is either their biggest or one of their biggest sponsors, and Troy and I will be up there. So come up and we will introduce you to all the guys at Cross, and ladies, because there's a lot of ladies that work the booth.
Sure.
We'll come up and we'll introduce you to all the guys and gals, and they will hook you up with a holster that you are looking for. If they don't have it in stock, which is highly doubtful because they usually bring a lot of stuff with them,
yep,
they'll have something there for you. If not, hey, you just tell them what you want and they'll get it in the mail to you. It's not a problem. And they usually offer some pretty good deals at those at the expos and shows and stuff. So go check them out. Find the one that you want and put your hands on it. Put your little hands on it when you get out to the expo. Come see us, and you can feel it, see how the quality of work is, how thick the leather is, how soft it is, and you can check out the one Troy carries and the one Doug carries, because we will have them on us as well.
I may have to get a new one by that show. I put a lot of miles on mine.
Have you? Man, I was well, I'll tell you that in a minute. Anyway, crossbreedholsters.com. Go check them out. They got a holster for you. Carry the cross. Next is Axelson Tactical. Axelson also changed their website the other day, and I was on the site looking up some parts for a gun a buddy of mine's building, and he was looking at the Axelson after he saw my rifle that I have. Precision rifles, pistols, and knives, and they sell just a little bit of everything. They got blast deflect or blast shields
Mhm.
if you're shooting AR pistols. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. They're actually AxelsonUSA.com now.
Cool.
So go check them out. Our buddy Jeff is over there just waiting for you. He's going to hook you up with something if you need it. They got a big promo going right now where they have a lot of stuff on sale. So go check them out. Axelson USA, AxelsonTactical.com will get you there as well. They both work, but it's Axelson USA now. Go check them out. And if you find something you like, buy it and use the promo code God and Guns. And just for knowing Troy and I, you'll get 10% off of whatever you order. And they have some really high end, nice rifles over there. So go check them out.
Cool deal. I just changed the link in our show notes, so it's now AxelsonUSA.com.
You know, let me, while I say that, let me just make sure.
Antares Alliance. We are Antares Alliance Life member, and they are a body of companies that are all united and promoting each other and their products. They are veteran owned and first responder owned. They are American Patriot owned companies that are all pulling their resources together. They're a lot of small companies. They're pulling resources together to help each other succeed. Antarius means a support pillar. So support those guys. Check them out. You become a life member yourself, and you can learn all about all the different products over there. NRA Armed Citizen, Doug, what do you got?
NRA Armed Citizen, and that is, excuse me, that is the link for Jeff and the guys, AxelsonUSA.com. NRA Armed Citizen tonight. A case of mistaken identity could have ended even worse if the victim's wife had not stepped in. A man was walking from his garage to the front door of his house one evening when two men approached him and asked him his name. When the man responded, the two individuals immediately punched him in the face. The assault continued as they moved inside the house, with one of the attackers accusing the man of having an affair with his wife. Fearing for her husband's safety, the victim's wife retrieved a handgun and fired 2 rounds, causing the assailants to flee the scene in a pickup truck. After police caught up with them, they confessed to conspiring to commit battery on the victim, but discovered they targeted the wrong man. They were arrested on suspicion of conspiracy and battery. That's from Ventura County, Star, Ventura, California.
Wow. Someone in California has a gun?
I know, right?
I'm joking. I know a lot of you guys out there in California, our listeners, have guns. But not for long if you keep on letting them keep
It's almost like we're on the other side of the wall. We will get to you. We will get you.
It's against the wall.
The chair. John has a long mustache. If anybody knows what movie that's from, let us know. Because I know.
All right. So we're going to wrap this thing up. We appreciate. I'm getting text messages on my computer right now. It's driving me crazy. Oh, here's my crossbreed holster that I wear every single day. You can see it's well broken in. I mean, it's still a good holster. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I about wore it out. But it's set up for my light. You see how my light's in there and fits in there nice and comfortable. It is the most comfortable holster, guys. Sorry, I just had to show you guys because I took it off to show you guys. So I had to go ahead and finish up. Go wrap it up. Send your feet. Oh wait. So I've got my ham general license, and all I've got for so far is a little Bofang HT, whatever it's called, VR, whatever it's called, the basic model, the $25 Amazon. So I can hit the local repeaters around here, but if I know there's a whole lot of you guys that are ham aficionados, and so I'm trying to figure out what's my first rig. I'm probably going to go with a upgraded HT, upgraded a hand transceiver that is like a tri-band on the 70 centimeter, the 2 meter. I mean, was it the 1.25 meter, somewhere in there between? I'm looking at for something like that. Was it the Yaesu? I like that, but you guys send me feedback on what what you suggest, because you guys have experience, and ham equipment's expensive. I don't want to make a bad decision. And then I'm going to be looking for a rig for my truck, probably because it's going to be a while before I throw the funds together to build myself a tower. And so I'm going to I'm going to start small and work my way up, and hopefully keep my wife from attacking me from spending too much. So, any suggestions at those three tiers? The hand transceiver, the mobile unit, which I think a lot of those mobile units go 50 to 100 watts, and then of course the ham shack unit, which will consist of lots of components, which I've got a lot to learn about. So
the ham shack. That sounds like a place to eat.
yeah, the ham shack. That's what it's called, the ham shack. You got to build your own ham shack, and I can't have it in my dungeon here. My little concrete basement. It can't be in here because I've got all my recording equipment here, and that stuff doesn't get along. Recording equipment and ham radios don't go together, and they don't need to be even on the same circuit. I'm thinking about taking one of these little sheds I've got, one of these little storage buildings, and setting it up on a different part of the property, put up some solar panels running all off of DC, so they'll all be clean. And then just I can go out there and transmit, and that way I won't be radiating my family and messing up their TV signals and messing up their Wi-Fi. Because when you start broadcasting that high power stuff, you can really cause some havoc around computers and stuff. So I've got to get it like away from this area. But nobody cares about that but me and about 7 other guys out there. But so we're gonna wrap it up.
You never know. Hey, I was gonna say we also have a new listener tonight. He says, "Hey guys, new to your podcast and just found you on YouTube. I appreciate you taking time to do this." And his name is Tim. Thank you, Tim, very much. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Tim. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. Let you guys go on to bed. Get up on time to go to church tomorrow. So send your feedback to Troy at GodandGunsPodcast.com or
Doug at GodandGunsPodcast.com.
Please tell your friends about us. Leave us a review, iTunes review. I haven't checked for iTunes reviews. There may be some over there. Like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/GodandGuns. We passed 3,000.
Yes.
3 times yesterday.
3 times.
We went about 3,000. Like 5 people quit, and then we get like 4 hours back, and then 3 or 4 more quit, and then we get it. I was like, you're really messing up.
I don't think people are quitting like that, honestly.
I don't know. It's like they're there and then they're gone, and then they're gone, and you can look at the thing is like, I'm like, what? I think we're being limited.
I think we're being censored.
Something. Send us subscribe to us. Yeah, subscribe, guys. You guys subscribe on that YouTube thing up there, and then you got to click that you want to be notified of new videos.
Yes.
So please do that, and just search for us as God and Guns Podcast on YouTube. You should be able to find us pretty quick. Follow us on Twitter at God and Guns Pod. I don't know what's happening over Twitter. I post things and stuff, but it's like one person sees it. It's like they've just turned me off. Like everything I put over is like maybe one person will comment on it. And there's several. At one time we had like 1,200 followers on Twitter. Now we've got like 300. It's like they're gone. So I don't know what happened. Instagram, I'm over there every once in a while. MeWe, check us out on MeWe if you want to trade guns. I had a suggestion from one of our listeners to start looking into alternative to Facebook called something Vine. I'm sorry, I don't have it pulled up. I meant to pull that up before the show. I'm looking into that. It looks promising, but I don't know all. And it's not the Vine video thing. It's like an alternative to Facebook, something Vine, and I've drawn a blank. But I apologize. I'll keep looking into that. It looked a little weird in some places and good in others. We may be starting promoting that if it looks like it's a good thing. It's supposed to be for conservative / Christian / gun owning type people. It's supposed to be like a similar platform to Facebook. I don't have any experience with it yet, and so I'm going to beta test it or whatever and see what it looks like. And if that's the case, we might try to get you guys to migrate over there with us and get off all this banning restrictions and stuff. All our website, godandgunspodcast.com. One of our friends said he clicked on it and it popped up some kind of a weird security warning or some kind of security thing with it. I don't know. We've had a lot of people say that in the past. They popped up and they had like age inappropriate stuff. So I don't know if they're putting restrictions on us now or what, but he said he had to click that he approved to go to an unsecured site or something. So I don't know what's going on with that, but it's over there and I can see it. So maybe you guys can find it too. So until next time, Doug, have a blessed week.
And keep your guns close, but keep your Bible closer.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate
Have a good night.
Good night. Go to church tomorrow. Night. I'm shutting down.